Something's going on. Something's wrong. I don't know if it's. I don't know how to start, but I really need to get this down. I need to keep track. Christ, Martha, I could use you now, damn it. I. I've never kept a diary. When I was a kid, even a young man, this stuff was for girls. I'm old now, and I guess I know better, but the stuff you learn as a kid can be hard to shake sometimes. Besides, I've never had to do the talking. Anyone needed to make small talk or even a shoulder to cry on, I just sent them to Martha. Sometimes I got annoyed at her yammering, but I have to admit, she had a heart big enough to share with everyone and anyone. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It worked for Martha. I'm just glad I didn't have to do it, is all. My wife was also a writer-downer. She wrote lists, and she wrote little reminder notes, and she wrote in her diary. And if she were still here, I'd just have to tell her what happened, and she'd have written it down. But everything else is different since Martha passed, and I need a record of this in case I quit earlier because this felt stupid. It still does. Besides, my hands were shaking. Made it hard to hold the pen. Couldn't sit still. Needed to pace around some. Calm down a bit. I didn't mean to talk about Martha, but I don't know where to start. I want to jump right into it, but that might not make sense later if I need this. If she were here, she'd tell me to start at the beginning and probably do it in that damned, I know you know this, so why do I have to tell you way of hers? Oh, fine, woman. The beginning. It's been a month since we put Martha in the ground. Now, I don't say that in front of the boys or their wives, but that's where we put my wife of nearly 50 years, in the damned ground. And things have been tough. The kids offered to help, especially Brenda, but I wouldn't hear of it. Too proud, I guess. I'm retired, not retarded, I said. I can damn well take care of myself. Thank you very much. Harsh, but I'd been through a lot. Mark and Cece looked a little hurt, especially Cece, but David and Brenda took it in stride. David's always taken after me, and Brenda's got that unflappable nurse thing down pretty well. She's like a black Dixie McCall, though she didn't get the reference when I made it. Emergency was a little before her time. Anyway, they got the point, but that didn't stop the offers or the visits. I was getting by, getting done what needed doing, day to day. Then, yesterday, I noticed my shirt was a little whiffy and realized I'd been wearing it for 3 days. I tried to change, but my drawers were empty and the hamper was overflowing, and I mean right out onto the floor. Now, laundry's always been Martha's job, and I'd forgotten all about it. That rocked me, that I could be so used to her doing something that even in the midst of all this doing for myself, I'd just forget like that. Tell the truth, it reminded me of Mom. A lot. I just blinked at the hamper for a moment, feeling dumb and starting to worry. But I'm having lunch with Mark and Brenda day after tomorrow, and if the kids, any of the kids, start figuring I'm living in dirty clothes, especially Brenda. Well, anyway, I got hold of myself and humped the hamper down to the cellar. This is going to sound... Okay, this is just stupid. This was a stupid idea. April 2nd. I guess it's not stupid, but I feel stupid. Damn it, Martha, why'd you have to leave this for me? While pacing last night, I made some Irish coffee. I had a knock or two of Bushmills while the beans were brewing, and then I guess I made God's blessing a little stronger than I've ever gotten it in a bar, and just kept them coming. That might have something to do with trying to bail on this. I'm not exactly hungover, but the booze definitely helped me get to sleep last night. I need a log, a record. It still seems kind of sissy to call it a diary, in case I'm really... Anyway, I've got to be as detailed as I can. I might need something to look over later. This was all yesterday. Ran out of clothes, like I said. Carried the hamper down to the basement. Kind of sideways. The stuff that wouldn't fit inside piled up on top, leaning against my chest. At the bottom of the stairs, a good-sized centipede sat about halfway up the wall. It was still, probably trying to blend in and hide, but the basement's painted white, and that dark brown body stood out like a 100-legged sore thumb. I remembered Martha's running joke, so I asked it, "Are you Laundrylegs?" It spooked and shot across the wall, ripping like a flag in a high wind, and disappeared into a crack in the cement. I saw another one farther along, and a tiny one up by the ceiling. Now, the basement stairs dump out in front of the house, but the washer and dryer are in the rear. I hitched up my way back there, that hamper bouncing off my knees and pinning those extra clothes down with my chin. And tucking my chin like that kept my eyes on the floor until I placed the hamper in front of the machine. That's when I finally looked up and froze. "Holy Mary, Mother of God," I said. "You have got to be Laundrylegs." I'm trying to stay focused, to just jot all this down in as much detail as I can while it's still fresh in my mind, but I guess I need to explain the whole Laundrylegs bit, in case things go fuzzy on me. Martha had this running joke with the boys when they were little about the centipede by the washer, and she never dropped it. I thought it was just something from their childhood she didn't want to let go, Even when they were teenagers, she'd say things like, "I saw Laundrylegs by the dryer this time," or "Thought Laundrylegs was gone, but I saw him this morning." Sometimes, especially once the boys were grown and out of the house, I'd offer to come get him out of there, lift him on a piece of paper and toss him out the window, like I did all her spiders. A silly joke with the kids was one thing, but enough was enough. She always said no, said they'd reached an understanding. I thought it was just her nattering away. She went in the basement several times a week doing the laundry, but I've been down there countless times myself over the years, and though I never took any real notice, I assumed there were quite a few bugs and things in the residence. There was no way she could tell even one centipede from another. Even if it wasn't a joke, if she did think she had a Laundrylegs, well, she was probably seeing a whole host of the damned things and just thinking it was the one. Then I saw him for myself. It clung above the washer and dryer, up high by the joists, like a trophy bass over someone's mantel. So big and so still, I thought for a moment it was a fake. Some practical joke Martha hadn't sprung before her heart went. Then I saw the feelers twiddling, spindly things when compared with the legs, and knew it was real. It was huge. I understand they get them big down South America way, but what it put me in mind of was a National Geographic picture I saw once of a man holding up a fossilized bug-looking thing. Lots of legs. But you could see in the photo it was bigger than his head. A whatchamacallit. This was thinner, but longer. 12 inches easy. And the legs. Hell, each leg on the damned thing was at least as big as the whole centipede I'd seen at the stairs. I whispered, "No wonder she reached an agreement." That thought spawned another. It wasn't like she could have avoided seeing this thing, and looking at it made my skin crawl. Why hadn't she asked me to get rid of it? From the look of the beastie, though, I couldn't have just shooed it outside with a piece of paper anyway. Not unless the paper was wrapped around a baseball bat. I actually looked around for a bat, or something like it, but there were only storage boxes on those metal shelves against the walls, and the hamper at my feet. Mark and David's bikes from when they were about 15, maybe, but nothing like a weapon. Get done what needs getting done, I told myself. The kids. Maybe I'd do something about the big ugly bastard later, but right then I was still in a whiffy shirt. I said, "Looks like I'll be doing the laundry from now on. I don't know what kind of agreement you had and Martha had, but maybe we can work something out." I felt silly talking to a bug like that, but I couldn't help it. The truth is, I was freaked out, if not downright scared. The thing was huge. I had a sudden thought. I said, "You are Laundrylegs, right?" And then caught myself actually waiting for an answer. I really am losing it, I thought. This has to be the one. If there is a bigger one down here, I'm getting a shotgun. I eyeballed the thing. Okay, here's our agreement. I'll do laundry down here. You stay way the hell up there. Deal? Those feelers twiddled. I took that as a yes and set to work. I didn't bother separating lights and darks or colored and whites or whatever, just divvied up the clothes into machine-manageable piles. If my black pants make my white socks gray, then they match. Saves me time and trouble later. Now, the whole time, that honkin' big centipede watched. At least, I think he watched. What the hell do I know? But it felt like he was watching. I was always aware he was there, especially when I leaned forward to reach behind the machine and turn the water on. I felt a tickle on the back of my neck, a feather-like touch, but when I jerked away, Laundrylegs sat in that same high spot, those long antennae twitching. It was just nerves. The regular centipedes all scattered when I got close, zipping about like quicksilver and scuttling into cracks or in holes and disappearing. Not this guy. He just sat there, twiddling. I said, "Look, do you have to..." "I doubt you stayed right there while Martha did the laundry. She would have had me come and get you. Either that, or I would have run out of clean shirts years ago." I started the water running into the machine and added the soap. Looked up. He was still there. "I never did, you know. Never ran out of clean shirts. Or pants. Or underwear. Had clean socks up the wazoo, and not one ever went missing in the dryer, you know, like they talk about. Never. Because my Martha was dependable." I was babbling, but it let me focus on something other than the big bug. My version of whistling past a graveyard, I guess. I started scooping up one of the piles and tossing stuff in the machine. Every time I tossed something in, I'd look up, and he was always there, twiddling, watching. She was a rock. I threw in pants. 35 years I worked, and every day I had a lunch. More pants. Every day, without fail. 2 shirts and a sock. Every day, clean clothes and a lunch and dinner on the table when I came home. More pants, a sock or underwear stuck in one of the legs, but I didn't care. And now I find out one of the things she had to deal with, hell, joked about dealing with in order to get all that done, was you. I glared at the centipede, breathing heavy. I was working, sure, but this was the most I'd talked about Martha since she died, even though Brenda, Cece, hell, even the pastor who'd performed the service had offered to be someone to talk to. I wondered how they'd react, knowing I'd turned them down only to open up to a reject from the creature feature. I didn't think any of that at the time, though. I was busy being mad. And after all that, after living with me, and I'm not easy to live with, I know, and working in the house and taking care of the kids and me and all of us, and then having to deal with you on the way, and always being there for everyone. Always being there. Until now. I slammed the lid, the clothes and water in the drum making it sound like a muffled gong. It was loud. I was loud, shouting at the end, but that damned Laundrylegs just sat there like I wasn't anything to worry about. He looked kind of blurry. I was crying. I hadn't cried at the funeral, not even when they'd lowered her into the ground. The kids cried. Her friends cried. Hell, people I didn't even know cried, all standing around a big hole in the grass. I worried someone might slip, might fall into the hole if they were too teary-eyed to watch where they were going. I was worried they might sue. But I didn't shed a tear of my own. A month later, in front of this freak of nature, I felt stupid and shitty, but I couldn't stop. And now here I am, with you. She's gone, and we're still here. You're still here. Is that right? Is that fair? Bullshit. I leaned over the machine as it started shaking and humming and slapped a palm against the wall, trying to get a reaction out of the thing. Finally sent it scurrying back to its hole. And dust billowed in a shallow cloud, making me cough and stinging my already weeping eyes. He didn't move. I stepped around the washer to reach higher on the wall, shouting and slapping again and again. No reaction. I was panting and still crying, not boo-hooing like some lady on daytime television, but the tears running down my face all the same. I felt sad and mad, and right then, it didn't matter why. What mattered was, there was this thing for me to yell at, this big special effect-looking thing on the wall that was, as far as I could tell, ignoring me. My God, that pissed me off. I stepped back, chest heaving, palms stinging, but that damn tree branch of a bug just sat there, waving those feelers like he didn't even know I was there. Like I didn't matter. Something inside me decided I was going to show him who mattered. Decided that either he was going to run or I was going to kill him, just as simple as that. And, just as simple as that, I snatched up the big bottle of detergent from the little table beside the washer and flung it at him. It was heavier than I'd expected. I just poured out a capful, but pouring is different than throwing, and it was a big full jug. I threw as hard as I could. but the weight of the thing pulled me off balance, and my feet tangled in one of the waiting clothes piles, and I went down. I might have gotten hurt, sprawling onto the poured cement floor, but I managed to land on the other pile. Well, mostly. I did whack the bejesus out of my elbow. I was still busy being mad, though, and when I fell, I lost sight of Laundrylegs. The jug hit the wall. I heard it land on the lid of the washing machine with a clunk, a lot like when I'd slammed it, but I didn't get to see what happened. I scrambled to my feet. This was when I noticed the elbow, but the wall above the washer was empty. No sign of the big bug anywhere. I leaned between the machines again, searching up between the joists for a crack or a split the big bastard might have fit into. And then, with my face closer to the wall like that, something on it caught my eye. There was a splotch on the cinder block, so light it nearly matched the faded paint, a pulpy, lumpy mass about the size of a quarter. Looked a little like instant oatmeal. Now, I might have missed it, even as close as I was, except for the leg. Right at the edge of the mass, like a twig stuck under a mammoth spitball, was a single, huge centipede leg. "Holy shit," I whispered. "I got him." As soon as I saw the leg and realized what the mush on the wall was, the anger just drained out of me, and I felt guilty. Sure, he'd been big and creepy as hell, but Martha'd never wanted me to kill a bug for her, just shoo him away. I'd gone and squashed the thing almost as soon as I'd found it, and it was one she knew, sort of. Martha wouldn't have approved. The big jug of sun lay on the floor. I picked it up and found an even bigger splotch of goo covering one bottom corner, a thatch of stalk stuck in it like reeds growing out of mud. More legs. At least 2, maybe more, smashed and splintered, the lone whole one still attached to a flap in his hide. I looked at the amount of pulp on both the bottle and wall. I looked at the intact legs sticking out of both messes and thought about the size of the thing I'd watched watch me. Where the hell's the rest of him? Even adding together the stuff on the wall and the stuff on the bottle, there was no way it added up to a whole Laundrylegs. Not even half. I checked the floor behind the machines. It was shadowy, but the overhead bulbs reflected off the white paint and enamel, and I could see well enough. No sign of him. Oh, I felt a little guilty before, but now, not only had I gone and smashed this bug Martha had known and talked about, I'd done a crap job of it. I imagined the rest of the centipede crawling away to die, half crushed and in pain. If Martha was up there looking down on me like people said she was, well, she wasn't too happy with me right then. I cleaned off the bottle and looked at the goo splat above the washer. I'd have to get the stepladder from the garage to clean that mess. The machine still had 30 or 40 minutes before I needed to move the stuff over to the dryer, so I figured to bring the ladder down then and kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I turned the lights off and came upstairs. When I brought the ladder down, an hour later, there was no sign of anything on the wall. No leg, no goo, nothing. I even fished the paper towels out of the trash to check, the ones I'd used to clean the bottle, and they were clean. I looked everywhere. There should have been something. There was nothing. It's like Mom all over again.